Up, everybody? It's Gary here, and I have not done one of these unscripted videos since like 9 months ago. And that's because season 12 recently finished, and yeah, some episodes I kind of had to find because they haven't been released or are banned in the US. So yeah, let's get started with my least favorite, number 48, The Nitwitting. Yeah, I think a lot of people can agree that this episode is not very good. It's just stupid humor but without the humor, so it's just stupid. Nothing entertaining happens. It's just stupid fish and stars and whatever going around town destroying everything. There's no humor. It's painfully unfunny, and Patrick is pretty unlikable, and SpongeBob is just too confusing. Number 47, Jolly Lodgers. What is a SpongeBob episode without a squid torture? This episode, Squidward, of course, tries to go on vacation while his house is being like de-infested or something, and of course SpongeBob and Patrick have to come along and ruin his vacation time. Number 46, Pineapple RV. Basically the same as the last one. I thought there was some form of humor, but honestly, these two could be interchangeable with each other. Neither of them were quite like fun to watch. Number 45, Quarantine Crab. The band episode. Ooh, am I glad it's banned? I personally don't care. Most of this episode was just boring, in my opinion, up until like the last minute, where it has the most disgusting imagery in the entire show. Yes, I think it's more disgusting than things like Face Freeze and the Splinter. Yeah. Number 44, The Hankering. It's another gross out episode. I mean, it's your typical gross out episode with a bad plot. It's just not a fun episode to watch. I think the chum monkey is disgusting. Most of this episode is disgusting, to be honest. Number 43, Sandy's nutty nieces. Sandy's nieces are annoying. They are the embodiment of why I don't like children. They're just so annoying. And why does Sandy always say yes to bringing them? Can't they go somewhere else? And their nieces were just terrible. And SpongeBob being tortured is just not fun to watch. Number 42, Gary's Got Legs. This episode is weird and not in a good way. Like, Gary and SpongeBob take roles at the end, and it's really disturbing. And, like, there's a lot of gross out. It's not as bad as the hankering, but still. This episode's weird, and I don't really like it. Number 41, Insecurity Guards. This episode is basically like a meh episode, except for they had to sprinkle squid torture in there. So, yeah, it's basically a meh, but they had to put squid torture in it. Number 40, Escape from Beneath Club World. Why is this a special? It is the most boring episode. If you know my channel, you know I don't really have much to say about mehs. It's because they're really it really is meh. Like, it's not bad enough where I can explain more about it, and it's not good enough where I can go full in depth about why I like it. It's just meh. Nothing to say about it. Just like this next one, Handemonium. Honestly, I also don't see why this one is a special. I feel like it drags on for quite a bit, and most of the things in here were unnecessary. But yeah. Number 38, Krusty Connoisseurs. I think that's how you say it. Krusty Connoisseurs. This episode again, just another unwanted special in my opinion. I did not find any interest in this episode while watching. Number 37, Plankton's Old Chum. This is attempting to be a Christmas episode, I think. I'm not sure, to be honest. But other than that, it's kind of gross, I guess. But most of it is just not that entertaining to watch, to be honest. Number 36, Who Arzu? This is the most boring episode of the entire season. Number 35, Patrick's Tantrum. Uh, I mean, there's some parts I like and then some parts I dislike, which balance each other out in this. Like, Patrick's Tantrum itself was pretty annoying, but the whole fighting scene I thought was pretty entertaining. So both of those things kind of balance each other out, if you know what I mean. Number 34, King Plankton. Again, just another episode I don't have anything to say. I feel like the plot could have been way more interesting, but they decided to just make it so boring, like a season 12 meh. Number 33, SpongeBob's Bad Habit. This is the most basic episode of season 12. It may not be the most boring, but it's the most basic. I mean, like, there's not much to say. It's just SpongeBob having a bad habit of biting his teeth, and then for some reason he's just Squidward by the end. This episode just doesn't make any sense. Number 32, Mind the Gap. Honestly, this and SpongeBob's Bad Habit, I feel could be interchangeable with each other, and it's just, again, I don't really feel like anything happens in this episode. Number 31, One Trick Sponge. SpongeBob trying to show off his tricks itself is a extremely boring plot. It's a meh. But I do like the reference to its sister episode. Other than that, most of this episode is just uninteresting, except towards the end with SpongeBob's trick, I guess. Number 30, My Two KRABSES. Mrs. Puff in this episode, man. I do like how they try to expand upon Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff's relationship, but this is definitely the worst out of this season for that episode plot. It's just, why is Mrs. Puff so dumb? This episode's also kind of gross, but there are some parts where I think are pretty comedic, like SpongeBob and Patrick making another Mr. Krabs. Number 29, Broken Alarm. This episode is just the embodiment of them running out of ideas. I mean, you have new ideas, but you decide to choose SpongeBob's alarm. That's not really interesting. Like, I do think SpongeBob's contraption is sort of entertaining, which is why it's higher above, but other than that, I just couldn't find myself getting interested. Number 28, Lighthouse Louie. Again, not much to say about this one. It's alright. I mean, nothing really offensive. I guess SpongeBob exploring the lighthouse can be fun to watch. Other than that, it's just. Number 27, Biddy Sitting. Why was there a need to bring back an old character exactly? Just so you could have an audience, I guess? That's why they made this episode? Honestly, this plot could have been any old person and it wouldn't have mattered. They just chose the person from Chocolate with Nuts because they wanted to bring people back for nostalgia or something, I guess. Other than that, the plot itself, pretty basic. Yeah. Number 26, Boss for a Day. SpongeBob basically takes over Mr. Krabs' job while he's away. Kind of like that one episode. I think it's Squid's Day Off. Yeah, Squid's Day Off. Except it's not that good. Number 25, Dream Hoppers. I thought the visuals in this one are nice, which is why it's higher above, but I could just not get into this episode. It was so boring. Whenever I was watching, I was thinking, when is this going to be over? Yeah, it's trying to be like an old time classic cartoon like Tom and Jerry because there's no dialogue in this episode besides the very beginning. That just doesn't make it entertaining like Reef Blower was entertaining. Number 24, SpongeBob and Randomland. This is just Squidward and Clarinet Land, except for a little altered. I would put this under Squidward and Clarinet Land, though, just because of the fact that they changed the Squidward reference scene to Squidward as a baby pooping in a diaper, which gives me PTSD flashbacks to Squid's baby. Terrible episode, by the way. But yeah, overall, this episode, again, it's just weird, I guess. Number 23, Swamp Mates. I do find the Bubble Bass and Patrick pair to be an interesting one, but they just don't convey it that well. I do find some of the parts of the adventure to be somewhat enjoyable, but other than that, it's just another meh. Number 22, Show Games. Again, I mean, the first time they add a turtle to this series and they make it bad, that's just sad, man. Well, not bad, but meh. Even worse, to be honest, because at least bad I can have something to say. But yeah, going back to this episode, it just doesn't make any sense. How does a turtle not realize this guy has been flipping his shell for like how long? 20 years? 21, I think, when this episode came out. Number 21. Oh, how convenient. Farmer Bob. At the start, this episode goes by so fast that it just paces so slow by the end. I do like the ending. I thought it was kind of nice, but the beginning is just all right. Number 20. Senior discount. The reason why this is above all the rest of the mez is because I do like seeing all the ancestors of Old Man Jenkins and Mr. Krabs, but the episode itself does not know what it wants to do with it. Like, it just jumps from one thing to another. Alright. Number 19, Stormy Weather. I do like SpongeBob's relationship with the cloud. I thought that was kind of sweet. Other than that, I couldn't get into this one. Number 18, Bubble Bass's tab. The reason why this is the lowest out of all the goods is because I do not really like Bubble Bass in this episode. Thought he was kind of a jerk here. But SpongeBob and Squidward going on an adventure together and Squidward actually looking like he enjoyed it made this episode pretty good to me. And I did find their adventure kind of entertaining to watch. Number 17, A Cabin in the Kelp. Honestly, it's just nice seeing the Gal Pals back together with a new member. The adventure itself, not like in your face, wow, but I think this episode is passable. Number 16, Break In. I wouldn't expect SpongeBob to taking a break to be so entertaining in that solitude room, but hey, it works. It's really nice, like, see SpongeBob finally taking a break. It's a lot better than you would think. Number 15, Hiccup Plague. At first, I mean, I didn't think this episode would hook me in, but now that I think about it, it's actually kind of nice seeing this kind of new adventure. Yeah. Number 14, Squids on a Bus. A lot of people might say this is a squid torture episode because Squidward is tortured by SpongeBob and Patrick on the bus, but it's kind of his fault for being arrogant to the bus driver, so it's kind of on him. And the adventure itself with SpongeBob and Patrick is actually quite nice to watch. It's funny, so yeah. Number 13, The KRUSTY Bucket. What sets this aside from most season 12 episodes is, again, the plot. I mean, the jokes in this one are not that good, but I do like Plankton having this new formula idea instead of the old basic one, where he combines him and Mr. Krabs together to get it, and it ends up backfiring to him. Number 12, The Goofy Newbie. The Goofy Newbie is where Patrick works at the Goofy Goober. It's an episode, yes. But besides that, I do think that some of the parts are funny, and yeah. Number 11, The Ghost of Plankton. Plankton and the Flying Dutchman are a pair that have not been seen before, but I do think that it's a quite nice pair, and the way the Flying Dutchman tries to teach Plankton is quite entertaining to watch, and most of the episode was pretty good up until the end, where nobody really cared about Plankton's funeral, which I thought was kind of sad. Number 10, Dirty Bubble returns. The Dirty Bubble is a character we have not seen since, like, dang, it's been forever since we've seen him, and his return was nice to see. The episode itself was just a nice little adventure where SpongeBob tries to keep the Dirty Bubble clean so he stays a good guy. It doesn't work out in the end, but still, it was nice. Number 9, The Ballad of Filthy Muck. A lot of people say they dislike this episode because it's gross. I do agree that it's gross, but it's not like most gross out episodes. I think that SpongeBob and the Filthy Muck's relationship was sweet, and I don't want to say adventure, but just what happens in the episode is nice to watch. Number 8, Cookie Cooks. Cookie Cooks is where SpongeBob and Patrick, I mean, not Pat, SpongeBob and Squidward have to cook for Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff because he's too cheap to go on an actual date. So it's nice seeing the different foods they try to make and makes for a funny episode. Number 7, Knock Knock, Who's There? Yet another, I think this is another Mr. Krabs at his house episode. Well, SpongeBob at Mr. Krabs' house doing a job for him. Yeah, it's funny seeing Mr. Krabs trying to get into his house while SpongeBob is protecting it. It makes for a funny episode. Number 6, Pat Heart Squid. Basically, Patrick and Squidward reverse roles at the end, which was definitely the best part of the episode. It's nice seeing Patrick kind of getting a taste of his own medicine, and Squidward turning Patrick into a more sophisticated self is pretty nice to watch. Number 5, Plankton's intern. Basically, in this one, Pearl is an intern for Plankton. At first, you would think, alright, but watching this, it's actually nice seeing Pearl work for Plankton. Number 4, Karen's baby. Karen's baby, basically, Karen gets a baby, and the baby grows up, and it's nice watching the episode, like the development of, I don't remember the kid's name, but the development of him, and in the end, where Plankton gets raised by him. Or not raised, but Plankton defends him. Number 3, SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. This episode is really nice to watch. It's a nice episode all around. I do think some parts drag out, but it makes up for the fact that it's a nice tribute to SpongeBob's 20th anniversary and to Steven Hillenburg and the flabby, or what is it? The crusty slab or something, I don't remember. But that scene was really nice, seeing the in real life actors as SpongeBob characters. This is definitely one of the best SpongeBob specials. Number 2, the Krusty Slammer. This episode, I wouldn't expect to work as well as it did. Basically, Mr. Krabs is like the Krusty Krab becomes a jail. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And SpongeBob treats all the prisoners really nicely, and it's fun seeing all this. Number 1, Gary and Spot. 2 of my favorite characters having an adventure. It's a really nice episode to end off my ranking, and definitely my favorite. Gary and Spot make a really nice duo. Sandy commentating is a good touch, and the adventure they have is quite funny. And I hope you guys enjoyed the ranking. Let's get on to the statistics. There were 8 bads, 22 mez, and 18 goods, which makes it a mess season. And for the season rankings, number 1 is season 3, number 2 is season 2, number 3 is season 4, number 4 is season 1, number 5 is season 11, number 6 is season 12, number 7 is season 10, number 8 is season 9, number 9 is season 5, number 10 is season 8, number 11 is season 6, and number 12 is season 7. I hope you guys enjoyed. Probably won't make another ranking until like another 3 years when season 13 comes out. And yeah, bye.